So to let you guys know, because I think it leaked on Reddit because it said coming in February, we're not quite ready to have the Carrack in the initial 3.8 release, but it will be in a subsequent 3.8 release. So it's not waiting till 3.9. So I think in February it should be done, and that's mostly because we still have some sort of LED stuff to do and some damage stuff and some of the finishing touches of the tech stuff. All right, so let's
get dressed.
Get dressed, put a jacket on. So it's the beginning of we're still working on some of our, but ultimately there'll be a lot more sort of physical inventory on what you're going to use, and you'll sort of see that, why it comes into effect later on in the demo. And let's just do a little bit of a tour, maybe go off to the mess, grab a bit of morning coffee. Here's a little cool table. If you're bored on a long journey, exploring the frontiers. There's a mess on the other side of the living quarters. And then window maybe. Yeah, we can't see the plan out of the window there, right?
It's on the
other side. All right, let's have a little cup of coffee.
So as you start seeing here, we are rolling out the new building blocks in the UI. This has been a large initiative on our team to basically empower our developers to actually use it when they're baking things. So versus it being bottlenecked by our previous smaller UI team.
All right, that's the upper bridge in the Carrack, and see that? And through there, I think, is the drone room down on the left-hand side, I believe.
Yep.
And here is the Carrack hangar bay. I mean, the Pisces hangar bay. Carrack hangar bay. Back there's the 2 rear turrets, and then also the engine room here, which is another one of our players. So Glenn's going to ask him to open the hangar for him when he gets into the Pisces. But of course, since our back-end FOIP service decided to die, and our back, not a bad idea to take a pour. Could come in handy later in the mission. All right, let's go in the Pisces, Glenn. Pisces. Joe's going to come with us so he can take he'll take the ship back to the Carrack after we've gotten down there, and they'll rendezvous and meet with us later.
Okay. Aerospace, all systems on.
Let's hopefully. Can we get player 2 on my screen left, please? There you go. Slow on our things. Okay. Back to player 1. Can I get player 1 back on the main screen, please? Player 1 main screen, thank you. Okay, that's player 1 on the screen right, main screen, please. Sorry about this. We had this going before. I don't know what's happening. Okay, there we go. All right, Glenn. Should you put, let's go exterior and then also get your landing gear back up. So you can see our pretty landing gear going up. Go underneath it. Okay, well, okay, that's fine. All right. And let's set a course to Microtech.
Quantum drive is now on.
The right screen is. Player 3, right screen.
Okay, then kill the right screen. Kill the right screen, please. The very right screen. Why is there off? Okay, here we are. Coming out. No. I know. Player 1, the center screen. Player 1 should be the center screen. This whole demo, please. Okay.
So we introduced space stations around orbit, around the planets. They will have hubs and basically other shops and all of that. So that will roll out with 3.8. So every planet, Lorville, ArcCorp, Microtech, and then obviously we have Port Alisar.
Yeah, and this is Port Tresla, which is the orbital station around Microtech.
A mountain casts like long, beautiful shadows across the landscape.
Down over the top. You know,
And because
like,
Microtech is
what he's talking
largely snow, this is kind of important, right? Another principle of V4 is we want to dramatically reduce the amount of biome tiling. So what we want to do is that it should be a one-to-one. So what you see in space is what you see on ground. The type of popping, crossfading, we want to get rid of that completely. So it should be a seamless transition. Also here, we knew it was going to do a cold planet. We thought it'd be really good to have a frozen ocean. So this was a brand new shader that we put into development. And what we have right now is it's physicalized, so we can walk and drive on it. Internally, we're just in love with this technology. It empowers the art team to be able to just create amazing artwork. Yeah.
So one of the things that we've added is basically, and this will tie again into the actor system that we show off later, but the planet, we call it the room system basically, and the room system allows us to have humidity.
But it could be a planet system,
yes,
or
but it's a planet system.
Basically an environment container.
So it allows
yeah, and it will also affect things like the contrails and the effects, and it's all tied in, which later on today we'll show more of. The other thing that we can talk about, other than how beautiful Planet V4 looks, also the fact that, like, I don't know if you noticed, but it's like you don't see repetition of biomes, you don't see, I mean, it just seamlessly from the outside in, it's just smooth, it's pretty awesome. There's some talks today that will talk about the graphics tech behind it and also just how they created the stuff. And as we're flying here, one other thing I want to point out, which is not necessarily the Planetech V4, but it's we've been sort of working on the flight experience, and that's an ongoing project for the combat and the flight experience. But one thing that we'll roll out in 3.8 is what we call the look-ahead setup for the cockpit. So if Glenn is flying around here, what we do is we actually take notice of where the velocity vector of the ship is going to be, where the horizon line, if you're on a planetary body, if in space, obviously you wouldn't worry about that, and also if you had a selected target, and the view basically gets sort of biased towards that. And so as you're flying around, you'll feel the cockpit move around you, and it's quite similar if you see people fly like Tarada does, you know, really cool flying, and he's got head tracking on, right? And you can see pilots generally look where they're going, and also if you're racing car driver, you look where you're going. And so that's kind of the idea here, rather than having a very static, fixed view. You can, of course, turn it off if you don't like it, but we think it gives a much more fluid experience. We've also been working on the